Picture this, a teenage boy standing alone in the middle of a city he doesn't know. No money, no job, no family. He just buried his father and his brother in the same year. A war had just destroyed everything he had. And the one company he walked up to with his hat in his hand, the biggest car company in Italy, looked him in the eye and told him he wasn't good enough. He had nothing, absolutely nothing. And from that nothing, he built the most iconic car brand in the history of the world. His name was Enzo Ferrari, and this is how a poor boy from a small Italian town created a legend that will never die.
47. It was more than a new car. It was a statement of intent.
His victories and defeats. His desire for both performance and beauty.
The winner of the Singapore Grand Prix.
La vittoria più importante è quella che devo ancora conseguire.
Enzo had lived the dream as a racing driver, built a world-class motor racing team.
Enzo Ferrari was born in February 1898 in Modena, a small city in northern Italy. His family wasn't wealthy. His father, Alfredo, ran a tiny metalworking workshop in the basement of their house, making parts for the local railroad. It was a simple, modest life, the kind where you work with your hands, you eat what you earn, and you don't dream too big. But when Enzo was just 10 years old, his father did something that changed everything. He took young Enzo to watch a car race in Bologna, and the moment Enzo saw those machines flying down the road, engines screaming, dust rising, crowds going wild, something lit up inside him that would never go out. From that day forward, Enzo Ferrari had one dream and one dream only. He wanted to race. He wanted to build cars. He wanted to go fast. Everything else in life was just noise. Then the noise got very, very loud. In 1916, a flu epidemic swept through Italy. It was brutal and fast. Within months, it took both his father and his older brother. Gone, just like that. The family business collapsed. Enzo, barely 18 years old, was suddenly completely alone. He joined the Italian army, got sent to war, and then, almost as if fate wasn't done with him, he caught the same flu that had killed his family.
It's 1918. For 4 terrible years, more than 40 countries have been mired in the bloodshed.
The whole globe was influenced by this war.
More soldiers died of the flu than were killed on the battlefield during 4 years of fighting.
He nearly died. He was discharged from the army, lying in a hospital bed with nothing waiting for him when he got out. When the war ended, Enzo dragged himself to Turin, Italy's automotive capital, and knocked on the door of Fiat, the biggest car company in the country. He was desperate. He needed work. He had experience in his father's workshop. He knew machines. He loved cars more than anything. Fiat turned him away without a second thought. Most people would have given up right there. Enzo didn't. He found a smaller company that would take him on as a test driver, moved to Milan, and started racing. And it turned out this broke, grieving, rejected young man was seriously fast. He caught the eye of Alfa Romeo, one of the most powerful racing teams in Europe at the time, and they signed him up. Enzo Ferrari was now a professional racing driver, competing on the biggest stages in Italy, winning races, building a name. In 1923, after winning a race, he met a woman named Countess Baracca, the mother of a famous Italian fighter pilot who had died in World War I. Her son Francesco had flown his plane with a black prancing horse painted on the side. She looked at Enzo and made him an offer. "Put this horse on your cars," she said. "It will bring you luck." Enzo accepted. He added a yellow background, the color of his hometown Modena, and the Prancing Horse was born. The same symbol that today sits on one of the most desired cars on the planet. But Enzo wasn't just a driver. He was a builder, a thinker, a man who cared less about being behind the wheel and more about what was under the hood. By 1929, he had stopped racing and founded Scuderia Ferrari, his own racing team, running Alfa Romeo cars. He recruited the best drivers in Europe. He obsessed over every technical detail. He turned his small team into a powerhouse. And then Alfa Romeo, recognizing what he had built, made him the head of their entire racing division. Enzo Ferrari was now running one of the most powerful motorsport operations in the world. Then, just like every other time life was going well, it all fell apart again. In 1939, Enzo had a falling out with Alfa Romeo and left. He started his own company in Modena, making race car parts. Then World War II arrived, and the Italian government forced him to convert his factory for military production. And in 1944, Allied bombers flew over Modena and destroyed his factory. Everything he had built, gone, reduced to rubble overnight.
The German bombers swoop over Polish land. Polish cities and harbors are attacked. Even the capital of Warsaw itself is bombed.
Germany and Italy declare war on the United States. It is the first and only time Hitler actually declares war on another nation. The wars in Europe and Asia now merge into a single gigantic world war, the largest war in history.
Another man would have walked away from the wreckage and never looked back. Enzo Ferrari looked at the rubble and started rebuilding. He moved to a small town called Maranello, bought land, put up walls, and in 1947, with the war finally over, with Europe still picking up the pieces, with almost no money and no guarantee of anything, he founded Ferrari SPA, a real car company. His name on the door, his vision, his rules. 3 months later, the first true Ferrari, the 125S, rolled out of that factory. Enzo personally sat in the driver's seat and took it for a test run himself. He was 49 years old. He had survived a world war, a pandemic, the death of his entire family, a rejection from Fiat, factory bombings, and decades of fighting an industry that never made anything easy for him. And he had finally done it. His first race car won its very first competition. The Prancing Horse crossed the finish line first, and it never really stopped. Enzo Ferrari went on to build the most successful Formula One team in history. 9 World Drivers' Championships, 8 Constructors' Championships, a brand so powerful that today a Ferrari isn't just a car, it's a statement, it's a dream, it's a symbol of everything human beings can achieve when they simply refuse to quit. He never flew in an aeroplane. He never left Italy in his final decades. He barely gave interviews. He lived quietly in Maranello, surrounded by the machines he loved, until he died in 1988 at the age of 90. The last car he personally approved before his death was the F40, still considered one of the greatest cars ever built. The boy Fiat rejected, the orphan the war tried to break, the man who rebuilt from rubble not once, not twice, but 3 times over. He didn't just build a car company, he built a religion on wheels, and the whole world is still worshipping it.